You are born in the 17th century, in the land of the Wampanoag. Your mother tends the gardens, pressing her hands into the soil. Your father hunts the forests, but always comes back to help her plant. Together, they keep the family fed. Your village rests where the river bends wide. The elders say the fish are so plentiful here, they leap into your pots. Your mother jokes that it's almost true. You grow up believing it. Your first memories are not of hunger or fear, but of laughter. You and your cousins racing through cornfields, wood smoke curling into the night sky, the steady beat of drums at council gatherings. You are 5 when you start learning the tribe ways from your parents. You watch your mother tuck fish heads into the ground before planting corn. She tells you how the 3 sisters, corn, beans, and squash, swore never to grow apart. You believe her, because here, everything seems to keep its promise. You swim in the river until your arms ache, trying to grab a fish with your bare hands. Your mother shakes her head. Your father just laughs. Keep trying, he says. I once caught one at your age. You believe him too. From him, you learn to snare rabbits, to track deer through snow, to feel the forest's heartbeat in the silence. The land is alive, and you belong to it. In winter, you crowd into the longhouse, firelight flickering on faces as elders remind you, everything has a spirit, and balance keeps the world turning. You nod, even if you don't fully understand. But balance is all you've ever known. You can't imagine it breaking. Not yet. For now, your world feels endless, safe, and whole. And you are just a child within it, running barefoot through the fields, certain the river will always sing your name. Well, at least until you turn 12 and the shadows come. Great wooden beasts with white wings drifting on the horizon. At first, they seem like stories made real. But soon, men step out. Pale, dressed funny, and carrying weapons that gleam sharper than flint. Some are traders. They smile, offering knives, beads, and cloth. Others are not. You've heard they seize men and children, dragging them into their ships. You hear the name of one who was once taken, Tisquanto, Squanto for short. He was stolen from the tribe long before you were born, only to find his way back to the tribe as an adult. If he could be stolen, so could you. So little by little, your childhood laughter begins to fade. But the worst shadows are the ones we cannot see. A few months after the traders from far away leave, sickness spreads like fire through dry grass. Bodies weaken, blister, and rot. You hear that some nearby villages lost nearly everyone, 9 of 10 gone. In your village, houses soon begin to stand empty. Fields begin to grow wild, and bones scattered where families once lived. You start to notice the absence. Your cousins vanish, your neighbors vanish, even your newborn sister vanishes. And your parents? They cough through nights that never seem to end. The elders whisper that the spirits are angry. Others say the strangers carry death in their very breath. You don't know which is true. You only know your world feels smaller, quieter, haunted. Even before the ones that will call themselves pilgrims arrive, you already live among ghosts. A few years pass since your tribe's encounter with the strangers. During that time, you turn 20. You learn to live with the loss. You are married now, and even already welcomed a child. A girl. The tribe is looking to recover its numbers, so child rearing is encouraged greatly. So everything seems to be going back to normal. Well, it did until they came to your shores. One cold November morning, they landed. You and some other hunters watch them from the woods. At first, you think they're ghosts or wind-sick whales. Then men clamber down ropes and make their world loud. Hammers, curses, prayers in a tongue that smells like wet wool and desperation. They look smaller than you guys, with gaunt faces, ragged clothes, and eyes that dart like prey. You overhear them say they had sailed for a place called Virginia and landed wrong. You hear other names whispered: Mayflower, Speedwell, Leyden. You watch them fumble with axes and a plan none of them seem to trust. In their midst are those who call themselves separatists, praying like your elders, and others who only look for profit. They begin to search the woods. Your people had hidden corn and caches through the fall, burying kernels where only you knew to look. You walk the shoreline and see the signs: trampled bark, footprints where none should be, a torn mat where someone once slept. You find a dug-up cache, your winter food gone. Someone has left a spoon, a broken pot. You realize they are hungry enough to take what is not theirs. In the longhouse, the tribe debates what to do. Kill them, some say, grief evident in their voice. You think about your child, your wife. You remember your deceased sister, your parents. You do not want to lose them. The elders count the losses from the plague that hollowed the coast. But they also know the strangers have iron knives and guns, especially guns. You have witnessed it in action once. You still tremble just thinking about it. You are pulled between things you were taught, protect the balance, avenge wrongs, and the practical prayer of elders who value peace. The elders finally agree to make a decision after winter. So you watch the strangers as they cough and stumble, set up their tree frame houses, bury their dead in the dark, and mount cannon on wooden platforms. You feel something like pity prick under your anger. Pity and fear braided together. So you learn to watch. You learn the sound of their shallop on still water, the cadence of their prayers at dusk, the places they will dig. You know now that their arrival is not a single event, but a turning, a new rhythm in the land, one that might be friend or famine. For the moment, you wait to see what they will take next. By the time winter loosens its grip, the strangers are still there, thin, sick, half dead already. You thought hunger or sickness would finish them, but somehow they cling to life. Your sachem, Massasoit, gathers the council. The choice is bitter, but clear. The plague had already cut your people down, villages erased, fields gone wild, silence where children once laughed. Meanwhile, the Narangasat, the neighboring tribe, untouched by sickness, remains strong. He knows if war comes, the Wampanoag will fall. So Massasoit decides the strangers must live. Better to have them as allies than as enemies. And that is when Squanto steps forward. You've heard his story all your life. Stolen by the English, dragged across the sea, returned with a tongue that speaks both worlds. He tells you that the strangers are from different lands. He tells you there are French, English, Spanish, Portuguese, and more just like your lands and its different tribes. Some call him blessed, others call him broken. But now, he becomes a bridge. You watch him walk among the strangers, showing them things every child of your people knows. How to plant corn with fish so the soil stays rich. How to follow the river for eels, slippery in the mud. How to set traps in the streams. The strangers gape like children, as if these lessons are miracles instead of common sense. And in that moment, you understand the truth. Without your people, they will soon be corpses in shallow graves. But your tribe gains something too. In return, they offer their iron, knives that cut cleaner than stone, muskets that thunder like storms, and words, promises, that feel as thin as smoke. You do not trust them, but you need them. And so an alliance is born, not of friendship, but of survival. That summer, the corn grows tall, not because of their god, not because of their strength, but because Squanto showed them how to plant it, because your people kept them from starving. When the harvest comes, the strangers decide to hold a feast. But the truth is, most of the food comes from you. Your hunters bring venison, your women bring maize, beans, squash. The strangers add what little they have, a few birds, some fish. 90 Wampanoag travel to their settlement. For 3 days there is eating, trading, watching. The strangers smile wide, laugh too loudly, lift their cups high. To them, it looks like celebration. To you, it feels like politics. Every bite of food is a reminder that they cannot live without you. Every handshake is a test of whether they will honor their words or break them. You sit beside your wife, your newborn daughter in her arms. Her tiny hands curl around your fingers as you taste roasted venison. For a moment, you let yourself believe this is what survival looks like. Your people strong again. Your child born into a world where the tribe endures. Across the clearing, you notice their people too. A baby, Oceanus they call him, born on the sea. Somehow still alive after that cruel winter when so many strong men died. He stumbles on unsteady legs while the adults cheer. Nearby, a man with wild eyes, Howland the Unkillable they call him. They say he fell into the ocean and lived. You see him work and laugh with a strength that seems endless. You wonder if he knows how close to death he has danced, and how thin that line truly is. Some of the strangers pray. Separatists they call themselves, raising their voices to their God, as if this land has always been theirs, as if this feast belongs to them. You see one of them, a young man looking troubled just like you. Strangely, you feel a kindred spirit with him, like you are different sides of the same leaf. With Squanto help, he tells you he came here so he can pray the way he wants, without being killed. You don't understand what that means, but you don't ask. He tells you he's going to try to bring his family over next. You look at your daughter, at your sachem, at the warrior sharing meat beside you, and a knot tightens in your chest. His words remind you that although they call it Thanksgiving, it feels less like gratitude and more like a claim. Years pass, and just like you feared, the strangers do not leave. Through winter, through spring, through every season since that first feast, they remain. And then, more ships come, carrying more of them. Men, women, children, enough to build new houses, clear more fields, drive deeper into the forests your people have always known. At first, it feels like balance. Your hunters trade beaver pelt for iron knives, corn for muskets. The gifts are sharp, useful. But the balance begins to tilt. They want more furs, more corn, more land. Trade soon turns into hunger, and hunger turns into leverage. You hear stories carried along the coast. In Virginia, the English rose against their native allies and slaughtered them. Entire villages burned, people killed where they stood. Your elders sit in council, voices low, reminding you. The English smile, but their hunger is endless. You can't deny it as you see it yourself. They raise fences where forests once stood. They mark boundaries in a land that has never known such lines. They speak of owning the earth, as if the soil can belong to a single hand. And in your chest, a quiet fear grows. The alliance is cracking, and the future is no longer what you think. Years pass, and you are no longer the young man who once watched pale strangers stumble off the Mayflower. Your hair has streaks of gray now. Your knees ache in the cold. Your children have grown tall. Your daughter married to a proud warrior. Your sons are already old enough to carry muskets on raids. You remember holding them as infants, their tiny fists curled around your finger. Now those hands grip steel, eager, calloused, angry. At first, there was still trade, furs for iron, corn for powder. But with every season, the English clear more fields, build more fences, drive deeper into the forest. You begin to realize trade is not friendship, and alliance is only a leash. Then comes the Pequot War. Word spreads. English soldiers and their native allies burn villages, men, women, children alike. You see the smoke on the horizon. You walk through the ruins of a village not your own, but close enough. Houses blackened, bones half buried in ash, survivors enslaved or dragged away. You had once fought beside these English. Now, you know what their friendship means. The years harden you. You take part in raids, leading your sons in skirmishes, sometimes against other tribes, sometimes against settlers. It twists your stomach, but survival demands it. You feel the balance slipping away, the old stories of harmony breaking under iron and fire. By the 1670s, the war you always feared finally arrives. Metacom, Massasoit's son, rises. They call him King Philip. You remember the day he was born. The English even gave him that strange name. He swears to drive the English into the sea. You join him, even as an old man, because what else is there? Your sons march beside you. For a time, victories come. Villages burn, settlers flee. The forests ring again with native war cries. You almost believe the tide might turn. But their numbers are endless. More ships, more guns, more hunger. The English answer with fire of their own. Entire villages fall in days. Crops are torched, rivers choked with bodies. Your daughter weeps as her husband is killed. One of your sons falls in battle, musket ball through his chest. Another is taken, bound, sold away. Whispers say to the islands across the sea, where no one returns. You fight still, though your body fails you. Your last battle is chaos, smoke, screams, the sharp bite of powder in your throat. You see Metacom fall, betrayed and hunted down like an animal. Soon after, his head is spiked above Plymouth for all to see. A warning, a promise. You do not give up. You organize the stragglers for one last offensive. You all know it's suicide, but what else is left for all of you? In that battle, you fall on the field, blade in hand. And so you pass, not as a ghost of pity in someone else's feast, but as a warrior, a father, a man who saw the world break and fought to the last breath to keep his people whole. The rivers still run, the corn still grows, but they are no longer the natives. Your tribesmen are scattered, some taken into English homes, dressed in English clothes, forced to kneel to English prayers. Their tongues stumble over foreign words, while your own language is beaten into silence. The stories you grew up with, the three sisters, the river spirits, the drum beats of council fire, fade into whispers. You fear they will not outlive you. The English tell their own story instead. In it, they are heroes, pioneers, chosen by God. Your people appear only as shadows, a helper with no name, a curiosity at a feast, a footnote, or erased entirely. They build a holiday out of the meal you once shared. They paint smiles where there were graves, gratitude where there was grief. They carve your suffering into their triumphs and call it Thanksgiving. Centuries later, children will wear paper hats and paper feathers, reenacting a lie. They will not know the truth, that you were born into abundance, that you raised children, buried loved ones, fought for survival, that you died watching your world be taken apart piece by piece. The real legacy is not a feast, but a famine. Not freedom, but erasure. And the silence they leave you in is the loudest truth of all.